It was a cold, moonless night when Emma arrived at her grandmother's old house. The house had been abandoned for years, its weathered frame creaking with every gust of wind. Emma had inherited the house after her grandmother passed away, and though she had visited many times as a child, something felt different now. As she walked through the front door, the familiar smell of dust and old wood filled her nose. The house had always been a bit eerie, but tonight it seemed darker, as if the very walls were watching her. She shrugged it off, thinking it was just the chill of the night getting to her. After all, it was an old house, full of memories. Emma decided to explore the upstairs. The stairs groaned under her feet as she ascended, the dim light of her flashlight casting long shadows across the hallway. She passed her grandmother's room, the door slightly ajar. The room had been untouched since the old woman passed, but Emma's gaze was drawn to something on the floor. There, amidst the dust, was a piece of old paper, yellowed and torn at the edges. Curiosity piqued, she unfolded it. The words were barely legible, but they sent a shiver down her spine. They're watching. Always watching. If you hear the whispers, don't look back. They are waiting. Suddenly, she felt a chill that seemed to freeze the very air. A soft whisper, so faint it was almost imperceptible, floated through the room. Emma froze. The whisper sounded like it was coming from behind her. Don't look back. It was as if the house itself was alive, every creak and groan a reminder that she was not alone. The whisper grew louder, filling her ears until it was deafening. Look back. Against every instinct, she turned. In the dim light, the shadows in the hallway shifted. Figures, dark and indistinct, began to form at the edges of her vision. Their movements were slow, deliberate, like they were creeping toward her, just out of the light's reach. She couldn't make out their faces, but she could feel their eyes on her cold, empty eyes. Panicked, she rushed toward the stairs, but the house seemed to stretch. The distance growing longer, the shadows chasing her, whispering her name. Emma stumbled, falling down the stairs, her heart pounding in her chest. When she hit the floor, the whispers stopped. She lay there for a moment, breathing heavily, unable to move. Then, a shadow moved in front of her, its form now clearer than before. It was a figure, tall and thin, with eyes that reflected no light. Slowly, it bent down, its face inches from hers. And in the deepest voice she had ever heard, it whispered, "You should have never come back." The last thing Emma saw before everything went black were the hundreds of cold, empty eyes that stared at her from every corner of the room.